The WNBA just delivered the most insane case of instant karma in sports history, and I've got the footage that'll make your jaw drop. Bria Hartley thought she could end Sophie Cunningham's season with that dirty hit and smile about it, but the basketball gods had other plans. And what happened next will leave
Bria
you
Hartley
speechless.
Just got instant karma, bro. She out for the season. For this one here.
Look at this picture going absolutely viral right now. Bria Hartley with that sinister, malevolent grin on her face right after Sophie Cunningham went down clutching her knee. This isn't just some unfortunate basketball play, people. This is the moment that exposed the WNBA's biggest villain, and karma was already sharpening its blade. The play itself looked dirty from the very first frame. Sophie Cunningham is sliding over, trying to make a defensive stop, when Hartley just launches herself into that collision with Sophie's lower leg. Watch Sophie's reaction. She immediately grabs that knee, and you know that pain is different. She didn't even try to get up. Trainers rushed over, teammates gathered around, and the entire arena went silent because everyone watching knew this was bad. But here's what kept people talking. What really set social media on fire, it wasn't just the injury, it was that smirk. With Sophie still down on the hardwood, cameras caught Bria Hartley with this twisted grin on her face. Call it a smile, call it a laugh, whatever softer word you want to use, fans saw one thing: a player enjoying the moment right after destroying an opponent's season. That frame spread across every platform in minutes. And suddenly, this wasn't just about a hard basketball play. This was about intent. The accusation was simple and damning. That's not how someone reacts if it's truly an accident. Fans argued that smile said more than any press conference ever could. And once that photo made its rounds, it didn't matter what Hartley's intentions were. The perception was locked in. Even when Sophie herself tried to calm things down, saying she was just in the wrong spot at the wrong time, it barely slowed the avalanche of outrage. Fans weren't buying it because that photo told a completely different story. People can accept basketball being physical and competitive. What they cannot accept is someone appearing pleased with another player's devastating injury. Let's be crystal clear here, Sophie Cunningham was targeted. This wasn't Hartley's first rodeo with controversial plays, and that's exactly what made this reaction so explosive. The WNBA and its fans had already been watching Hartley's pattern of physical confrontations and questionable plays all season long. Remember the incident with Angel Reese? Fans called out Hartley for grabbing Reese's hair during a rebound battle. You don't accidentally grab a fistful of braids, and Reese's immediate reaction showed how blatant and intentional it looked. That clip circulated fast, and by the time everyone added it to Hartley's growing reputation file, there was already another incident waiting. Rebecca Allen became the next name attached to Hartley's controversial season after catching a shove that had fans pointing fingers once again. None of these individual moments got major punishment from the league, but when you stack them together like building blocks, it becomes impossible to ignore the pattern. And here's where it gets even more damning. By the time Sophie was down clutching her knee in that Connecticut game, Hartley's controversial moments were scattered throughout the entire season. That made it nearly impossible for anyone to believe this smirk was just unfortunate timing or a misunderstood expression. People remembered the Reese hair pull, the contact with Allen, the pattern of aggressive plays, and now a collision that shelved one of Indiana's toughest competitors. Indiana Fever fans woke up absolutely furious the next morning, and rightfully so. Not only were they watching their players get targeted and injured, but now they had to see the perpetrator smiling about it. This marked the 6th time fans witnessed opponents laughing, cheering, or smirking after Fever players got hurt, and the anger reached a boiling point. The rage intensified because officials seemed completely blind to these patterns. Fans blasted referees for letting dangerous contact slide one game, then calling ticky-tack fouls the next. There was no consistency, no standard for player protection. That inconsistency fueled the narrative that referees were complicit, allowing teams like Connecticut to play overly physical, while players like Sophie absorbed the punishment. Then you add the ultimate insult. Sophie herself had been fined earlier this season for criticizing those same referees who failed to protect her, while Hartley faced zero consequences after repeatedly targeting players. For fans, that double standard was impossible to ignore and absolutely infuriating. Even Sophie's family had seen enough and spoke out publicly. Her sister Lindsay questioned why the league punishes players for commenting on poor officiating faster than they address dangerous plays that actually injure athletes. Her mother, Paula, went even harder, calling Hartley a disgruntled player having trouble everywhere she goes and labeling her playing style as mean and out of control. Talk of suspension started immediately across social media platforms. Fans pointed to other cases where reckless plays drew league discipline and demanded Hartley face the same treatment. They had already placed Hartley firmly in the dirty player category, painted the league as corrupt and inconsistent, and viewed Sophie as the innocent victim sacrificed to the WNBA's broken system. But before the league even had a chance to make any ruling or hand down discipline, something absolutely unbelievable happened that nobody saw coming. The Connecticut Sun released a statement that completely shifted the entire narrative. Bria Hartley would miss the remainder of the season due to a meniscus tear in her right knee, the same type of devastating injury that ended Sophie's year. But here's the kicker that had everyone's jaws on the floor. Hartley got injured during team practice. Her own teammates took her out. The timing couldn't have been more perfectly ironic if it was scripted by Hollywood writers. Sophie Cunningham had just been ruled out with a torn MCL, a gut-wrenching blow for a Fever team that felt like they'd taken too many hits this season. And now, Hartley, the exact same player at the center of Sophie's injury controversy, went down with her own season-ending knee injury. Both players sidelined, both facing long recoveries and uncertain futures. But here's the difference that had fans celebrating. Sophie got hurt because she was on the receiving end of someone else's reckless play. Hartley got hurt because karma delivered payback faster than anyone could have imagined, and it came from her own team during practice. The instant karma storyline exploded across every social media platform. Fever fans who had been furious and demanding justice suddenly shifted from outrage to pure vindication. Posts celebrating the cosmic symmetry popped up everywhere, with people calling Hartley's season-ending injury the kind of justice the league itself refused to deliver. Comments poured in from every corner of WNBA fandom. Wonder if she's grinning now. Instant karma, prayers do come true. That's what happens when you target innocent players. The message was crystal clear. Fans saw this as the basketball gods stepping in where the WNBA's front office failed. Meanwhile, Sophie continued showing the incredible grace and class that made her so easy to root for. Even after her devastating injury, she refused to throw Hartley under the bus, telling fans she held no ill will and still considered Hartley a friend. That contrast only boosted Sophie's image. While fans unleashed justified anger online, she carried herself with calm dignity and honesty. But now let's talk about what happened after all this drama, because Indiana's struggles didn't end with Sophie's injury. The Fever just suffered a heartbreaking 75-63 loss to the Golden State Valkyries that dropped them from 7th to 8th seed in the playoff race, and the way they lost makes it even more frustrating. Indiana shot an absolutely dreadful 33.3% from the field and went just 6 for 30 from three-point range. That's only 20% from beyond the arc. Technical difficulties plagued the entire game, with shot clock malfunctions and constant stoppages, but that can't excuse the offensive struggles that have been building all season. Aerial Powers led the Fever with 17 points, and Kelsey Mitchell added 14 points with 3 assists, but it wasn't nearly enough. This loss meant Golden State swept the regular season series 3-0, which is particularly painful when you consider every game matters for playoff positioning. The timing of this loss couldn't be worse. Without Sophie Cunningham's veteran leadership and clutch shooting, Indiana's offense has looked disjointed and unreliable in crucial moments. Her injury created a ripple effect that the team is still trying to overcome, and now they're facing an uphill battle just to maintain their playoff position. But here's what makes this story even more compelling. The Fever's resilience through all this adversity has been absolutely remarkable. Injuries piled up, hardship contracts were signed, the roster looked paper thin, but this team refused to fold or make excuses. Kelsey Mitchell has been absolutely explosive, including a 38-point performance earlier this season that earned her Eastern Conference Player of the Week honors. Lexi Hull stepped into expanded leadership roles, proving she could help hold the team together through chaos and uncertainty. Even without Sophie, the mental toughness and fighting spirit she embodied spread throughout the entire roster. And then there's the Caitlin Clark situation everyone's watching closely. The team continues playing it extremely safe with her return timeline, giving only day-by-day updates without committing to specific dates. But everyone in basketball knows what her comeback could mean for this franchise and their playoff hopes. Sophie's injury hasn't broken this Indiana team. If anything, it's revealed a depth of character and determination that could set them up for something special that nobody expected when the season started. Through her own recovery process, Sophie has shown why she's become such a beloved figure in women's basketball. On her podcast, she was completely transparent about undergoing surgery and being officially done for the season. She didn't sugarcoat how difficult the rehabilitation road ahead would be, but she also sounded genuinely confident about what comes after. One word she kept returning to was gratitude, thanking the Fever organization, her teammates, and the fans for their incredible support during this challenging time. If you support Sophie Cunningham and want to see the Fever succeed despite everything they've been through, smash that like button and let me know in the comments what you think about this instant karma situation. Subscribe and turn on all notifications so you never miss the latest WNBA drama and analysis. The playoff race is heating up, and you don't want to miss what happens next.